And with a few seconds remaining before the game launches, those of you just tuning in, my name is Resonance22, and today I have the honor of co-casting with Nilfgaard for the King of the Hippo 3 Grand Finals. This match is a 2 versus 2 versus 2 versus 2 King of the Hill game that features many top players. If you guys watch this on my own channel later, you can find links to Nilfgaard's pages in the video description below. Thank you so much for having me today, Nilfgaard, and would you like to do the honor of introducing the players for us?
Sure thing, mate. So we have 8 players. We had 4 qualifiers before, and out of those qualifiers, 2 advanced each time. So we have Dagobert and Saladas. We had a civilization pick of the system A, B, C, D, D, C, B, A, and they came out with Teutons and Mongols. Then we have, for me personally, the favorite when it came to skill, but with a weird choice, we have Matthew and Timothy, the brothers Feanor and Malkor from Ireland, with the Goth and Byzantines, questionable choice. Then the strongest civilizations probably, Influenza with Persians, and Mika, which is who is B. Myers, playing with Celts in addition, and last but not least, Clefkis and King Marv playing with Spanish for the trade and Saracens. Great civilizations, great composition, and this maps, yeah, they spell trouble for all the players.
Yes, so for those of you who are just tuning in, the map today will be Woodlands, which is essentially Oasis, except there are 4 different clumps of trees, which essentially means that each player will have, each team will have kind of their own tree area. One of the interesting things with all the civilization picks today is that a lot of them revolve around these sort of siege onagers slash paladin compositions, except we do have the Byzantines plus Goths, and earlier on during the draft we were discussing exactly what makes those picks so weird. Would you like to explain that to the chat?
Well, the thing is, like, Paladin Siege Onager is such a strong composition, and then going for something totally else, especially like Goth, which have their strength, and Timothy won the last King of the Hippo 1v1 or like 8-player FFA tournament with Goths, and then they picked probably Byzantines to take away the best counter. But I still think it's so questionable to do that, because who would actually go for Byzantines to counter only one civilization? So I think it was pretty fearful. But that being said, if you are Goth and can get your barracks up in this area, you're basically unstoppable if you can keep those barracks running.
Yeah, it looks like they just really feared the Byzantines counterpick for the Goths Huskarls, as they can really just spiral out of control in the late game. Usually in these King of the Hill games, we expect the games to go relatively long, so picking civilizations with a strong 200 in population army comp is always recommended. And we see here in the middle of the map, this is the center monument, and as soon as a military unit gets, or as soon as a unit gets to this, then the timer will start ticking, and when the clock hits 0, the team that holds control of the middle wins the game.
Exactly that, unless you're switching when it's less than 100 years, then it's always going back up to 100 years, so it's not possible to do like a last second snipe of controlling the wonder in the end.
Yeah, you have to make sure that you're actually able to hold it for those final 100 years, and that is the real nail-biter moment. So...
Ooh, Clefkis losing a villager here.
Oh, he did? He lost it to the boar?
Yep, indeed.
Ah, disaster. So that will slow down his early game a little bit, but thankfully he is using his scout to just sort of push the deer underneath his town center to save a little bit of walking time, which is one of the tricks that players do to bolster their early game economy.
Let's put the chat off, and then we can totally concentrate on this game. For now, no one took the monument so far. That means like very early Imperial rushing isn't that strong anymore, because the timing is so much more delayed.
So we see right now as well that Orange is going for a palisade wall on the bottom side of his base. He is the only player, I believe, who's walling so far. What do you think of this?
Yeah. Yellow going...
Actually, he has a map that's pretty good for it, right?
Well, it's a cheap wall, but what are you really accomplishing? Like, no one will really rush you. They won't rush. They won't flush. So that early wards only are good if you want to get map control. And then I think they're too defensive. Because you want to control area. To get trade, to get extra gold spots, to maybe get relics or something. But he is walling too passively, if you ask me.
Yeah, one of the things that's going to be really important later on in the game, since this is every player has a teammate, is going to be revolving around building an excellent trade line. And generally, you want to stretch your trade line from corner to corner. That way you get the maximum amount of gold because you generate more the further away the markets are from each other. But here with the 2 versus 2 versus 2 versus 2, it's going to be rather difficult for players to actually establish a good trade line. So you want as much map control as possible.
Indeed, that. And securing that would maybe mean, as I said, either early walling or maybe some early aggression, but it seems like everyone is looking to go for the boom approach here.
Yeah, no one wants to take any unnecessary risks in the King of the Hill. If you end up going for some sort of crazy rush and it doesn't work out, you're going to put yourself at a significant disadvantage, and then maybe the other team will just end up stealing a win from you at the very last minute. In terms of actual like civilization teams, I think I really like the Celts plus Persians combination the most out of all of these. I feel like they have such a strong combination of units in the later stages of the game. Very excellent cavalry, really bulky siege, and just having so much HP on the battlefield like they do, I feel like that gives them quite a good advantage in the later stages of the game when holding the hill.
Yeah, and it's both of the highest HP unit, the highest actual non-siege unit, which is the War Elephant with 620 HP, and 105 HP siege onagers, 405 HP rams. It's just you need so much DPS to actually kill whatever is in the middle.
Ooh, and it looks like Salad Escape is our first player to the Feudal Age, but we would expect this because he's the Mongols, and that's one of the main strengths of picking the Mongols as civilization is the 50% faster hunting. He's got the barracks and he's the blacksmith and the market coming down, so he has set himself up for actually a very good fast castle age. He's just 10 gold away.
Yeah, and
bingo.
Oh, he's looming.
He's gonna loom first.
Oh, I didn't see that coming.
So what do you think of this decision to get loom instead of advancing to the castle age immediately?
It's the safe choice, and honestly, it doesn't really matter. Since you're booming anyways, and everyone will boom, if you're losing 1 or 2 wills, or if you're like delaying 1 more will, it doesn't change the fact how the game will develop. But if you want to go for maximum, I think skipping the loom here would have been an option. Oh, and now they're walling here as well.
Oh, where are you looking at the wall?
Blue. Blue is sending 2 villagers, and they're trying to zone out the area. And
yeah, I think that I like the safe approach here when you're doing a King of the Hill game like this. So I think I like that Salad Escape is snagging that loom upgrade just in case. Otherwise, he could end up in a very awkward situation where his opponent decides to rush him with something and his villagers are made of paper mache.
Yeah, that's true. If you're getting the scouts, and Tato in the last game, for example, went for early scouts, so the threat is real. But yeah, not expecting it if you're actually the Mongols.
So it looks like Salad Escape is going to go for a stone wall here, whereas really so far I believe that no other player has actually put up stone walls. They're all just going with a budget pick. Orange is actually going for a stone wall as well, but he will be zoning out one of his secondary stone mine actually on the other side of that.
Oh, and Blue is actually fixing his walls, so they're securing the corner and the gold spots, and that's a very expansive wall, but I think the better one than Orange did, or he was planning before. So I like that adjustment.
Yeah, that's a pretty greedy wall, but again, I like that because really these King of the Hill games boil down to map control. And here, even though his wall is so very close to green, this gives them access to the corner, which is crucial for that trade line. It also seals in another relic, so many additional mines. And yeah, he's up to the castle age at a very, very nice 15 minutes, and Influenza, our Persians player, not too far behind him.
Yeah, that's true. Adding 2 extra TCs, actually even going for some knights, which is uncommon. Let's see, maybe, yeah, Cow just asked him, okay, look at this guy. He didn't wall it all, and this knight will, yeah, at least delay some villagers, or maybe snag 1 or 2 here.
Yeah, I like this this aggressive approach. It's something a little bit different, not going for a straight boom. Influenza really trying to take advantage of his more efficient town centers. Coming in there, excellent quick wall off by Yellow. We'll deny that knight.
Yep, great. If the knight would have went for the wood instantly, he would have gotten some wood kills, but going to the TC first gave Timothy the time to wall there.
Yeah, and how we see 4 town centers total for Yellow. He's plopping down 3 right now, so he has prepped himself for one hell of a boom. And when you're playing the Goths, it's all about trying to get to the later stages of the game. That way you can leverage your crazy infantry bonus. And right now, Influenza just looking for some vulnerable villagers to snipe, but they're all right next to town centers.
Oh, Matthias extra 3 GCs as well. And yeah, if you get to your like 60, 70 farms and can produce endless amount of Haskell's half composition, then you're totally forced to be reckoned with. And other players, yeah, they need to go for their stronger tips as well to pussy off the middle then.
So it looks like Influenza will be swinging into Purple's base, and he will find some foragers, so he does get to force a little bit of idle time. This is kind of awkward for Matthias, as he's actually... Yeah, he doesn't actually have loom yet.
Yeah, funny, now getting loom, and only has 1 villager close to the TC there, so can't really shoot the knights as well. Friends are buying himself some time, going for the 3 TC boom. As we can see, Red is going for the full boom as well. Grey is going for 4 TCs. And players kind of agreed. Okay. Oh, actually, the Wonder is still not picked.
Yeah, that's interesting. Normally I see players start the timer just a little bit sooner with their scout or something like that. I don't know if you noticed this, but apparently on the left side of the map between blue and green, there has been quite a little bit of villager fighting, as both of them are just struggling to get some control with those walls. And actually, green ended up losing a villager as he's trying to just build a wall right in front of blues.
Yeah, saw some of it, and the wall is still not closed for both of them. And I'm a big fan. If my enemy is stonewalling, I'm not walling at all. But that's obviously super risky and can easily get exploited. But if my enemy is showing me he is not willing to do something aggressive, well, actually it's showing me that he will do something defensively, then I will just accept it.
Yeah, the general idea is if you see your opponent stonewalling, chances are they're not going for a rush, and they're just going to play defensively. Therefore, you probably don't need to waste stone on your own walls, but you always run the risk of your opponent actually going aggressively. And it looks like Yellow will be putting down a defensive monastery, perhaps to make some monks to just deter those knights and threaten a conversion.
Maybe he sees the 2 relics which are close to his base. He sees 1. And yeah, just defends them. Okay, let's see. Grey and Red are attacking at the north as well. And Grey kind of missed it. So Green and Grey now have the shortest line. And it seems like actually Influenza and B. Myers, which is Mikau, could get 2 corners here.
Yeah, and that's going to be huge for late game gold. And just like you said, you know, the relics too are also very important, so we're going to have to keep our eyes peeled and see which relics these players manage to secure. Yellow's got that relic fever. He has his scout stationed right next to this one, his monk coming, and I think he will just be able to secure this one. And I also like, by the way, that Teal is not really overcommitting into these knights, because he hasn't been able to accomplish too much, and he recognizes that.
Yeah, just 3 knights, no upgrades, just to see maybe he can take 1 or 2 village kills here, because the monk at the front was distracted, but no, even getting a lot of damage down here against the knights, and without a single will lost, actually killed the scout there. Friends are now expanding with some more TCs, and by the amount of TCs, I think he will go for war elephants and not paladins.
Ah, you think the war elephants are on the way. Well, that's also something that I'm really looking forward to seeing. And right now, Yellow putting down an additional barrack, so he's up to a total of 2. Putting down a couple of spearmen. Again, he's wants to make sure that there are no knight shenanigans on the way, and he's going to need those barracks later. And he's putting a slightly forward siege workshop. These players have fairly strong economies right now, but if we look at Purple, he is at a whopping 86 population.
Starting with the 40 Cs, only delaying 1 villager for a very short time. Just really showing that he is on top class at the moment, and yeah, just a solid 5-6 ahead to the next one, which actually is his brother, so it's looking good for them when it comes to booming.
Indeed, indeed. And pikeman upgrade out for yellow. Healing up his scout a little bit. It looks like teal is just trying to get a wall off here. And right now, a bit of a lonely action. Blue also snagging a relic. It's I'm a little bit concerned about some of these shorter trade lines, particularly for green and gray later. They're going to have to find a way to bust down some of these walls, perhaps on the north side, and try and secure a corner, I think.
Yeah, and that's not why you picked Spanish for, that you accept the shorter trade route. No, you want to have the real advantage kicking in for you. And I'm a bit surprised that yellow actually decided to go for some aggression here.
Yeah, this is a fairly early barracks from him, as well as a fairly early siege workshop. Yellow not exactly completely boomed yet, at up to 82 villagers. He has the highest military population with 11 right now. He's got the scale mail armor for his pikemen, ever so slightly moving the line forward, and now Teal has to respond with his own siege workshop, his own monastery, and get ready for the infantry as they're slowly moving in.
Yeah, but he only did those two buildings to get Imperial Age because he just clicked up and he took all the builds away from stone, so he will go for paladins first before he goes for halberdiers. Let's take a look at Influenza. I think he did not see that coming, and I think he still didn't.
Yeah, Influenza definitely wanted to just get to the Imperial Age there. I don't even think... we might see a defensive mangonel from him as a way to deter this push, but I think he's going to be caught off guard, especially considering that there are two monks moving in here, and actually, Purple does get a successful conversion. He just makes sure his monk doesn't die.
I didn't make sure of that. And suddenly, I think Influenza still didn't see it. Now suddenly he sees rams, pikemen with +1/+2. What's happening here? Let's see how his reaction will be. Adding more stables.
Will he be making a mangonel? We'll have to see, but it might be too little too late. Here comes the battering rams. The battering rams actually have pikemen garrison inside them, which is quite cute. He's clearly going for paladins as a way to counter those, but with all the pikes in here, with a couple of monks, these knights might not be the ideal answer.
Not at all. And it seems like more pikemen and more battering rams are coming. Now going for the siege workshop and the stable, not the GC. Not giving the bonus any efficiency here. The Persians having double HP on their GCs. So focusing on siege workshop and stable first. Oh, no!
This is going to... Ooh. Well, okay, so Teal is in the Imperial Age, which is pretty good. This is a very awkward situation for him, considering that he opted to go for a very cavalry-focused opening, and the pikemen aren't indeed the counter, so I think it's really cool to see from Yellow that he would actually go aggressive at this point and just catch Teal off guard. He's in the Imperial Age, but he just doesn't really have the economy yet to field out a counter, and I'm curious to see how he's going to deal with this. He's still just massing up knights. I think he needs some assistance from his teammate.
Maybe. What is he going for? Some bolt riders could actually help, some halberdiers as well, but at the moment it's not looking like he can help instantly. Influenza is at a solid 106 pop, but 36 of them were just idle.
Yeah, and right now, Purple also moving the line forward himself with several forward stables, so he will be mixing in some cavalry to help out. And Teal is in a situation where he's set up to get ganged up on by both players. Blue has started the countdown, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's so late. No, other games are 30 minutes earlier. I'm so surprised that all the players went for something else. And Timothy, let's see, now clicked Imperial Age. And the pikeman ram push will continue. Can you help soon, Influenza ask? And yeah, he needs that help.
So, did Red end up going straight to the Imperial Age instead of sending help? It looks like that was the case. Yep. So, what do you think of that strategy? Do you think he should have gone for the Imperial Age, or do you think he should have sent assistance to Influenza instead?
I think if Influenza dies slightly and still survives with like 50-60 villagers, that's not a problem. But actually having that corner and have a nice trade and hold against Grey, that's so much more value for them in the long run. So I like that he accepted Influenza to kind of die here.
So it looks like Teal's just still committing right now to the Cavaliers. Mostly it's just very difficult for him to transition into anything else at this point, and the Cavaliers are just something that's very strong for his civilization. It's not like he can just make long swordsmen or something like that. He will end up getting destroyed, and he doesn't have time to wait for like chemistry and mass a bunch of hand cannoneers, so he's just kind of shoehorned into this Cavalier build right now. And he's getting 2v1 with all the cavalry coming in from purple. Things are looking very bad for teal, and he's just kind of getting hung out to dry here. Some Woad Raiders on the way from red, but this is very, very slow.
Yeah, and when I said like it's okay to let him die and then survive, then I mean like that influencer needed
to live.
3 GCs and 50 villagers, but it's looking tough for him. Woad Raiders now coming in, conscription as well, but no elite Woad Rider upgrades so far. Let's see those villagers trying to get the ram, and the help is late if you ask me.
For some reason you're cutting in and out very slightly for me.
Okay.
Not sure what that is. But yeah, anyway, red is coming in with some assistance. I have to give major props to teal for actually doing a very good job holding the line up to this point, not panicking and doing something silly like start massing at crossbowmen. He's actually kind of just barely holding the line, even though red hasn't really sent in any military units yet. And across the map, the rest of these players are getting ready to apply their own pressure. Orange, on the bottom side of the map, our Teutons player will be massing up a ton of hand cannoneers, a bombard cannon on the way out from gray on the top side. So lots of action starting to pick up.
Indeed, it will be so tough to catch all the action. Let's see now, since Cow needed to go lost on the south, Woad Riders will scare that away. He might be in trouble in the north. Let's see, yellow and purple obviously pushing here. Orange more on the chilling side, trying to start the trade. And I think Saladesk will be super important. And as I said, hand cannoneers for Teutons. Not the unit we expected from him.
Yeah, let's see, I'm trying to think exactly why he would do this, because he is indeed adjacent to the Spanish player. I think it's a viable option for the Teutons, but usually when I see Teutons, I usually think Paladins. So red has a fairly large army of infantry to assist on the top side, but notably he is missing a lot of upgrades. He does not have a Halberdier yet, and he does not have Elite Woad Raider. Blue will win this game with just his scouts, says Moonsorrow 55.
Okay, I was distracted for a short second and now back into the game, yeah. And you pointed out before what the great job Influencer did of actually still staying in the game. He is still having 40 Cs, 70 pop, nice amount of cavaliers, and if Red just saves him now, I think they're in a reasonable scenario there.
Yeah, and of course, Influenza knows that when you are super far behind, what you need to do is you need to just get that economy back on track. He's got all 4 TCs producing villagers. He's building more farms at the back, slowly shifting that economy out of the battle line. He will survive, despite purple and yellow bringing in an excellently crafted counter army with those discounted Byzantine heavy camels, the discounted Goss Huskarls, and they will be pushed back by the powerful infantry.
Yeah, but still no elite Woad Riders, now only getting researched. And yeah, there's no chance of Influenza now going for wide defense. Or actually, since it doesn't really make sense to add more cavaliers, I think going for elephants is now the only logical transition. Because at one time, yellow and purple will switch their focus and will go for the middle. Although it's still quite some time.
You see some Caprams spazzing out on the top side of the map, and now red is going for the engage, and he's taking this fight because he has elite Woad Raider. This castle, I think, is a nice, well-placed defensive castle on the part of teal. I'm interested to see if he will indeed go for those war elephants, like you said. I do agree those would be a good option. And now Cataphracts, elite Cataphracts, which I believe are fully upgraded, getting mixed in here for purple. This will be a great transition for him. Such a strong counter to red's mono infantry army.
Yeah, now the Cavaliers absolutely should help, which are probably one of the best counters against Cataphracts. So now those Cataphracts obviously wrecked what red was throwing at them. And I'm really surprised how purple and yellow are playing it out, but they are relentless, putting up so much aggression, and teal can't help himself but putting up another defensive castle. And if you think, why isn't red slinging teal? Because I did forbid to research coinage or banking so that we not see heavy sling games here.
Right, so in King of the Hippo 3, players are not allowed to research coinage or banking, but they are allowed to sling each other. This castle is denied for Teal, as those cap rams are coming in there, and Teal will remember to delete that castle to get that partial refund. Red building another defensive castle, and this is the major battle going on right now. These players are going to have to make sure they control their units carefully. That way the Cavaliers get matched up against the Cataphracts, and then the infantry from Red gets to deal with Yellow's infantry.
And still very stalemate at the other side. At the moment, Timothy not with any markets, so probably the main reason for the push is to secure 2 corners. But at the moment, still the wall's strong for Influenza, but not for long. And oh, look about Elite Cataphracts now pushing Mikau away.
This is quite a dicey situation for Red and Teal. Now, like, a big chunk of Teal's main economy is once again being threatened, and his population has just been hanging around a stable 80, and now it's going to start dropping rapidly. And with nothing really, he doesn't really have enough to protect these castles either at this point. This is looking difficult, but I think they will still survive this push. Everyone just kind of content to play defensively right now. And the reason that they're attacking each other, like you said, is you know, Yellow and Purple really want an excellent trade line, and the countdown in the middle is nowhere near 0.
I don't see them surviving anymore, honestly. At the moment,
never mind. That's a lot of infantry.
50, and Mikau is at 160 without all the upgrades. Now going for coinage. Let me just quickly message him. No, sling was coinage. Sling was coinage. Oh, I can't message him. Then okay, Influenza got the message.
Excellent. Hopefully that doesn't significantly impact the outcome of the game. Meanwhile, Green actually prepping for some serious defense with all of these bombard towers on his side. Part of me almost feels like this is a little bit of a waste with those bombard towers, just because they're so easily trebbed or killed with like bombard cannons over the other side of this wall. And one of the many perks of having siege onagers is they could actually cut around that forest if they so decide to.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Those towers are looking scary, but could get outmaneuvered so easily. Like as you said, either mass rams or just traps from range. So they don't really affect anything, but maybe buy some more time.
Yeah, and really the place that you want to be buying a lot of time is the middle, but the middle is nowhere near the countdown. So yeah, King Marv just trying to protect his own base, buy some time. These guys are not wasting any resources by playing passively, which is quite important, stockpiling all that gold for the later stages. And now there are some Cataphracts in Red's economy. Teal and Red kind of falling apart.
Yeah, they do. Thank you so much, ABC Melanie. And yeah, it's so tough now ungarrisoning his Scorpions, but not enough buffer there to actually fight those elite Cataphracts. And if they close the distance against the Scorpions, they will fall as well. Bombard cannons now as well, an additional counter to those heavy Scorpions.
Oh yeah, I love the bombard cannon choice from Yellow to deal with those heavy Scorpions. What do you think about heavy Scorpions as a counter to elite Cataphracts in this infantry?
Probably. Well, what else can you do? If you're Celts and you're playing Cataphracts, you have to go for Scorpion Halberdier, but you just need to have like 60-70 stable army there, and then you can take fights. But he only had like a group of 20-30, and then he just gets overrun.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. I think this is something that the Celts player has to do in a situation like this versus that army. Elite Cataphracts is one of their few weaknesses, is that they actually have fairly low pierce armor, so something like the Halberdier plus heavy Scorpion combo can be quite potent. Green moving the line forward in the middle, and yeah, my heart goes out to Influenza here, as he just did not get too much early assistance. Red tried his best to defend him, but I think by then they just lost so much ground, and it was really difficult for Teal to build back. He's trying to build back at the top side, but you can see what's happening to him.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh god, that hurts so much. A bit of feeling of smarty before playing Teal as well. And yeah, Mikau actually said, okay, let's resign, and Influenza just said, die, look at 350 years, you still have a very nice equal, did boom all game, just continue playing. And They will continue playing, but oh god, they're losing so much ground here. Oh, sweet influenza walls here at the trade of Timothy and Matthias.
That's a pretty sick wall. We'll be disrupting that trade line significantly. These are enemy markets, guys, and now they're gonna... Those trade carts have to spend so much extra time walking, and then they get all bunched up on each other. Meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, blue and green doing some posturing. Blue really wants to remove those bombard towers, but he has to be very careful because green has a gate. He can just, you know, counteract with trebuchets and bombard cannons, so it's kind of stalemate.
Indeed.
And here comes Gray at the top.
Yeah, and red didn't even have a good answer to face purple and yellow, so yeah, gray in addition is even tougher for him. And yeah, we get into the phase where Timothy and Matthias get 2 corners actually, which
is going to be absolutely devastating in the long run, as they will generate so much gold from that trade line. Okay, so I don't think that teal and red are in much of a position to recover from this, but yeah, at least he does actually secure a stone mine at the top, so gotta collect as much resources as you can before you're out of the game.
So they basically get 110 gold per per route, and Klavkis and Marv at the same time get only 43 per ride there. Ay. Not the best trade for them. They're still in a very small area, and as we predicted, all the towers going down without getting any nice kills here. And Saladesk is going for the strong Mongols composition. Siege Onagers having lots of castles already out, so wouldn't be surprised to see more Mangodites coming up. And I think now purple and yellow agree. Okay, we have solid 25% of the map. We are fine with this. Let's concentrate on the middle now. But actually it's still 300 years, so it's not necessary just yet.
Yep, with 300 years remaining, now players will have to start turning their attention towards the middle. And you know, the thing that we see on the left-hand side between green and blue is something that I see all the time, where players will put like a castle right up against their walls, and that helps a lot in the Castle Age. But in the Imperial Age, basically when all these bombard cannons and trebuchets start to come out, the only way you can really deal with this is if you are prepared to open up your walls and just go in there with paladins. But blue has his own walls protecting these bombard cannons, so that's a lot of resources down the drain. But I still think it was totally cool for green to do that, because he has so much money in the bank, it won't be a huge loss for him.
Still, that's 10-15 towers that he could have built at the middle in the end, and those can win a game. So I would have preferred to not see those towers, but yeah, it feels a bit like we are going into only 3 teams contesting for the win now.
Yeah, so now it's a 2 versus 2 versus 2, which is a lot easier to say. And now, yeah, green does have some bombard towers in the middle. This is something that's very important when you're playing King of the Hill. It's all about surrounding the hill in those bombard towers, because it's just very difficult to remove. Even if your opponent can remove them from a safe distance, it takes time. And time is what wins the game. You just want to stall them by putting as many buildings in the middle as possible, and right now it's really just green and gray who are doing that currently.
Green and gray absolutely in the middle, but purple and yellow, you can see they want to go for it as well. And Patrick now coming, bombard cannons coming as well, so they want to just feel the water a bit in the middle, so that they don't look into 150 bombard towers and 10 layers of stone wall later on.
Well.
Ooh, look at those.
Looks like blue. Yeah, blue's gonna cut.
Indeed. Interesting move.
Where is he cutting to, do you think? Do you think he's gonna cut straight to the middle?
I think he's just cutting to prevent gray and green to get too much wood there. But I think just to be annoying mainly. I think they have nice access to the middle, so they don't need to cut per se.
Yeah, I completely agree. They actually do have very nice access to the middle, and if they want to just cut to the middle, they could very easily cut around these walls anyway. So it looks like green is of course aware of this. They did see that as they ended up losing a lumber camp to those onagers, and now they're just stationed there waiting, zoning off that wood line, and yellow and purple now turning their attention towards the middle with a couple of petards to bust down that wall.
Indeed. And I think that will be a small skirmish, but not a real fight. So let's take a look at resources. King Marv 1188, Dagobert 66, and not really a lot of gold. Then we have Saladesk 1517.5, Klefkis 715.5, Timothy 12.1, Mikau Pop 15, Material 6003k, Influenza Pop 9, and King Marv was where we started. So all the players who are actually still in the game have nice resources banked up, but I think Dagobert could use some more gold, but he has a lot of very costly gold units and a lot of harmonies.
Indeed. We have a very huge battle going on here in the middle of the map. Having these siege rams for our Saracens player is excellent on many levels. One, it's a way to remove your opponent's buildings, of course, which is quite nice, especially with all the bombard towers that will inevitably come down. But also, they're just a very bulky, difficult to remove unit. And at some point during the game in King of the Hill, you kind of just have to bunker down and start putting as many bodies on the hill as possible. And those siege rams are very difficult to remove if you just park them there.
Yeah, indeed, and that's what we were hoping for actually Kel siege rams, but for now, Saracens siege rams will do it. And players are pushing for the middle, and might be a bit early, 210. For now, blue and orange are taking the very defensive approach here.
That they are, just conserving all their resources, blue and orange.
Look at
just
this.
content to pounce.
Look at, they have a combined 22 kills in this game, orange and blue. Blue has 2 and 4 as stats. So ridiculous.
That's pretty sad. Slow and steady wins the race, guys. As right now, they're just playing as defensively and greedy as humanly possible. Blue even ever so slightly inching the line forward with the siege onagers. What they're trying to do is attrition this game. Make sure that the remaining teams waste as much resources as possible. And that's an expensive army of green and gray. And then once they're just a little bit low on resources on both sides, blue and orange come in for the kill and clean everyone up.
Probably that's their plan, going for Mango Dice, going for, I don't like hand cannoneers, halberdiers, but later on they will get a stronger composition. Let's take a look at red. What does he have? I think he only has 1 monastery left. Yeah, that's the last building to get defeated for me.
Yeah, that's pretty devastating. Hopefully they leave that up, just to be nice. Maybe he'll get slung 100 gold, make a monk, convert his way back to the game.
Well, he has endless amounts. I think he just went AFK. He has 0 out of 10 pop as well, and 4k gold.
For some reason, that last part was cut out. Do you mind reading that?
He has enough gold, so he could produce 0 out of 10, so that could actually be fine, but...
For some reason, I
can't...
Okay, I think you're back now.
Feels bad, man.
I'm not exactly sure. Either way, it looks like we're experiencing some like slight Skype connection issues between the two of us. I'm not exactly sure.
Want to switch into TeamSpeak maybe?
Not sure what that is.
Just join me in TeamSpeak.
Yeah, I can hear you again now. Do you want to hop on TeamSpeak or stay on Skype?
Yeah. Just go TeamSpeak.
Connected.
We're gonna swap to TeamSpeak, guys. We'll be right back.
Channel switched.
Just waiting to catch him when he gets into the room. And then we are all set. You can still see the game in the background. Sound should be coming any second. Sorry guys for that. Countdown is still pretty high, so it's not the most important fight, but you can see purple and yellow actually pushing pretty solidly here. See some more, and yeah, orange and blue still not really fighting, and they're still so passive. Now blue actually lost a unit, going down to 2 to 5. Not really sure why Troy isn't in TeamSpeak just yet. Now he's there.
User was moved to your
And
channel.
I pulled him, and then it's all fine.
All right, cool. And we're back, guys. Sorry for the brief moment of silence. And we're back into the middle of the game.
Let's see what Chilo's actually doing. He still has one villager. Oh yeah, that's true. Red can actually build a monastery, build monks, convert villagers, and get back into the game.
Yes, he can, and that's actually something that I managed to do as a kid against my friend in one of my childhood games. I actually managed to convert one of his villagers with just a few monasteries left in the corner of the map. We'll see if that actually happens here, but I'm not getting my hopes up.
Let's see. And now they're discussing the game, and yeah, it's looking good that Timothy and Matthias is actually controlling the middle. They have a lot of bomber towers now. Obviously the Goss didn't need a lot of stone, so they just continued to bank the stone up. Maybe bought even some. Let's take a look at market prices. The stone is at 306, so yeah, they bought some.
So what do you think, by the way, of these Teutonic Knight choice from Orange? This is a unit that's very iconic for the Teutons and something that new players definitely fear due to their insanely high melee armor, but they have almost no ranged armor and they're very slow.
Yeah, they're super good against Goth, obviously, but they're extremely poor against everything that the Byzantines has, namely bomber towers, cataphracts. So, we will see 116 years soon. Blue and Orange need to start fighting, and Blue is now preparing the siege ramp push, and he could easily get those 6-7 towers here.
Oh, definitely. Now, 1 second, I'm gonna briefly make sure that I have my own audio levels for you adjusted while we see so many siege ramps coming in to deal with all of Purple's bombard towers.
Oh yeah, those towers will go down. Siege Honors helping out as well. Mango dies here, and Orange pushing, so that's a nice successful clear of all those towers. Now some cataphracts coming in, but Mango dies should easily snipe them down. Lots of Teutonic Knights, and oh, now Yellow and Purple might get pushed back a bit. Let's see how Blue and Orange will continue pushing here. I would love to see like roughly 20 to 50 more Mango dies if you ask me, but for now, that's the first step here.
Oh my gosh, those Teutonic Knights coming in. They're an excellent answer to all of the Goss infantry, and it is actually getting a pretty good cleanup here. But really what's going to boil down to right now is a battle of attrition. Every side going to make sure that they're trying to spend all their resources carefully, desperately trying not to run out of them. And Purple has control of the middle with 90 years remaining, but they are being pushed on both sides.
Let's see, I will try to stand the point of view of Timothy. He still has reasonable resources, very queued up barracks here. And yeah, they're now sending Huskarls against the Mango Dice. And Halberdiers to the top, at least they don't what I would hope, but actually they're sending Huskarls both sides. And Orange is not providing enough stuff. He's actually losing his bomber towers in the front there, and yeah, the walls didn't get cleared up. And
his units,
yeah, go ahead.
His units are just getting stuck on King Mar, the green Spanish player's walls. You see that they're just getting bunched up there. It's some HD level unit pathing. Getting blocked by that trebuchet. This fortified wall proving to be an absolute disaster for him. Those bombard cannons being left unescorted is so much money down the drain. And really, one of the essential parts of King of the Hill is making sure that you're macroing well and that all your barracks are just constantly queued up with units. And Yellow is doing exactly that.
Yeah, that's true, but now he's running low when it comes to resources. Only 1k or less when it comes to wood and food. So Harvard production might get tough. He's still producing a lot and still maxed out, but now Elite Mamelukes and Siege Onagers doing the job. Now Elite Teutonic Knights coming in as well. I think this might be a clear up, but it's still only 70 years left.
I'm actually beginning to like the Elite Teutonic Knight choice even more, even though it gets absolutely decimated by those Elite Cataphracts. It's totally awful in that situation, but they are an excellent answer to Elite Mamluks and a really strong answer to all the infantry units. So provided that the Mangadai can actually take out those Elite Cataphracts and there aren't too many of them on the field, those Elite Teutonic Knights could end up getting a lot of value. 60 years remaining, but it looks like Yellow and Purple are poised to lose control.
Yeah, I think so as well, and indeed, Mangadai is so good against Cataphracts, so the composition of Teutonic Knights and Elite Mangadais Actually, yeah, I can totally agree. At the first time, like at the start, I was skeptical, but now I'm starting to love it as well. But obviously, we are a bit blinded because now they're doing a great clear up here.
Oh yeah, and with 50 years remaining on the clock, Yellow's just trying so hard to hold onto this. Just barely keeping military units there, but I think it's going to be too little too late as both teams moving in. These are such expensive gold-costing armies. Great to see the Teutons finally getting some serious play and actually doing some work. Bombard towers moving forward. Control is about to switch.
Ooh, but Blue is now doing a weird choice of killing actually lots of the Mamelukes, and Yellow is still able to produce into it. Lots of Mamelukes going down at the front, and Saladas not thinking about the immediate threat of the army of Timothy in the middle, but actually trying to gain some advantage against the other very strong team.
Yeah, that's a really interesting play here. He thinks that he has enough time, but he doesn't really fear Yellow and Purple's just minimal troop presence. He's just trying to gain, like you said, a little bit of an advantage over the other team. Control still held by Yellow and Purple, but only with a few Huskarls remaining. He's losing those barracks. Control
this
will
Huskarl, yep. Okay, indeed, nice timing there. And at the same time, we see Red and Teal actually starting a reboot. So
yeah,
maybe
Red got a villager?
Red got a villager, yeah. And he has
oh my God.
Nice amount, actually 2 villagers, 1 Mameluke, maybe soon to have 2 Mamelukes, a cataphract. Oh God.
Oh, this is dumb, but that's why I love Age of Empires 2, because in this game, there are very few restrictions and anything is possible, and it looks like Red living the dream, building back up for 1 monk. If they win the game, that's going to be a Christmas miracle.
Absolutely, I think I will double the prize pool if they win. Seriously. So now we have Orange and Blue, basically the strong armies, and Gray and Green with a very strong armies as well. And since Red was defeated, they extended their trade line in the Spanish trade, so they're doing okay on that regard. At the moment, Blue is controlling the wonder together with Orange, and they're looking strong to maybe even hold it here.
Yeah, those are a lot of bombard towers out for our Orange Teutons player, and they have so many forward buildings. Building the forward buildings is quite important in King of the Hill, and just in general, make sure that your army doesn't have to walk so far, especially when you're dealing with Lead Teutonic Knights, which are slow as hell. And some Hussars being mixed in here for Ray. How is he doing on the gold count?
Ray is mixing in Hussars. What?
Oh, he looks like he's out of gold. Or very low, at least.
Okay. And that's not good, because now they need to push. Oh, now Yellow and Purple grouped up a bit. Purple actually going back, trying to regroup again. And then take a better fight, but it's only 60 years, and oh, that was a big on-edge shot here.
Yeah, it was an absolutely huge on-edge shot. Blue actually has... Wow, he has so much food in the bank, but this is something that's good that I don't often see from a lot of newer players, is that he's recognized that he has so much food in the bank, he's probably not going to spend any of it, so he actually has, I think, 0 farmers at this point.
Yep, that's very good. Okay, now Yellow and Purple pushing in, closing the distance against the Mangolites, and from the top the elite Mamelukes, so we can see a lot of Mangolites, but they will plummet any second now. And oh God, trying to regroup a bit, and formation actually was reasonable, but now Onager shots coming in. Lots of HP lost. Next Onager shot.
Ooh.
Yeah, now giving the...
Some pretty good control here by Blue to try and avoid those and snipe off those Onagers. It's just that right now Purple doesn't have that many units in here, but now the elite cataphracts are on the way back. They are being pushed quite a bit. They might lose control of the middle here, but it's close.
Maybe. So a lot of Teutonic Knights here. It feels like 25 Teutonic Knights, some Halberdiers, and some Mangolites now sending in more Rams as well. So that's a lot of HP on the map. Remember guys, all the stone area is the important one. Now Purple and Green fighting. That doesn't help their case. More Onager shots. And more
Red
army.
has all of his upgrades for his army. It is official. Red is ready to win the game.
Okay,
wow, with only 35 years remaining. Nilfgaard, I think that they might be able to hold this. It's close.
Ooh, it's close indeed. Not enough siege onagers, if you ask me. So many ramps from the side. That's so good by Saladeski. 30 years only. Oh, not a lot of mango dice, still maxed out, and now more bombard cannons, bombard towers coming in as well. The production is still there. Lots of army from green though. 27 years only. Siege onager shots. I'm lacking siege onagers from Clefcus here. If you had like 5 onagers over here that would constantly rain down in this area where they send all the units, would help out so much more. 23 years here, Resonance.
This is getting really close. One of the major perks of the Saracens, beside their insane late-game elite Mamluks, is going to be their siege onagers, and there just aren't any of them. I love these ram fights. So many military units in the middle of the map. We're running out of time. Purple inching the line forward, but these Teutonic Knights and siege rams are so tanky.
Oh, Blue even sending villagers now. 16 years. Everyone is getting sent in, and oh holy god, the Teutonic Knights are the most important thing. If they get to the top as well, that might be the game changer. We're now going down to 10 years. Green and gray are sending in everything. So are yellow and purple. But now blue is completely out of units. Only some.
Oh my god.
Some more mango dice. We're down to 9 years. This will be so close.
Those Teutonic Knights are so tanky. They just resist all those melee attacks, taking almost no damage from these elite Mamluks. It's 7 years remaining, 6 years remaining. Teutons OP, they might be able to do it.
And maybe some more rams coming in. 4 years only. Those are the Teutonic Knights. Let's see how many are still on the ground here. And yeah, if they get around the corner here, I think they will do it. I think Dagobert and Saladas will do it. Those Teutonic Knights are there. This game is over. Grand finals done. Dagobert and Saladas will win it.
They're so tanky. Teutons confirmed S-tier civilization. GG, well played. Congratulations to Dagobert and Salad Escape for one hell of an amazing game. Everyone played so well.
Oh god, they camped it out for so long. Then the nice clear up against Matthias and Timothy. And then just they didn't have lots of army left, and all the gold was dry for them as well. But yeah, just enough Teutonic Knights there. Let's go into his point of view to see how many units he still had left. Yeah, it was, oh, even a trade card there. It's like 15 Teutonic Knights won the game against 60 Mamelukes and 40 Paladins there.
Tanks is the word, as these units just getting insane value versus the Paladins and versus the Mamluks. Absorbing all those attacks, really the only thing that threatened them in the middle was the Cataphracts. They just ate everything else. What a crazy, crazy game.
Whew. And Dagobert just said in chat, this is literally the best thing ever. And yeah, I can imagine. We don't have lots of big prize pool tournaments for lower rated players, and for them it's a beautiful come true, being having a great audience, being casted, and yeah, winning some money in those games.
I just realized that I accidentally closed the game instead of going to the achievements.
Okay, then I can give you some numbers if you want to. So military stats. Mika not looking too great. Oh, we will take a look how teal and red looked in the end. Timothy obviously very poor statistics, but that's just how Goth work. So that's it. Trade profit influencer Mika nothing, and actually King Marv, the guy with the short trade but Spanish, got quite a reasonable trade. Dagobert could have been like 10,000 more if you ask me. Timings are not important, relics are not really important, and villager high influence are just struggling. Let's take a look at the timeline. You can see red and crawling somewhat back, and teal super small at the whole time. Saladesk at the end, getting the win together with Dagobert. Nice big army in the end for both of them. Marv going for it, and yeah, Slavko is going as well. I think he was missing the siege onagers. In the end, we even saw King Marv going for some mangonels to clear this up here.
I am indeed showing the achievements from your stream on the screen right now. This is just a great game. The only thing that could have made it better, I suppose, is if teal and red actually somehow managed to win that from the jaws of defeat. But I think that would have been unlikely.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh god, what a great last game.
Yeah, and thank you so much for having me today, Nilfert. As always, it's a pleasure to co-cast with you. I hope you guys enjoyed our commentary. I'll be reading the comments later. So, And if you did enjoy it, Neilfair does have his own Twitch page, which you can see on the screen, YouTube channel, etc. All that'll be in the video description. I also happen to cast the previous King of the Hippo Grand Finals with them. You can also find links to all that in the description below. And yeah, as always, it's a pleasure, man. Thank you for having me. This is some excellent Age of Empires 2, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did.
Thank you, guys. I'll play some more ASC music, and then we'll leave you with your Saturday evening or Saturday if you're from the States. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. And yeah, hopefully more tournaments like this will come up with the great support of the whole community.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the next. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next opportunity that I have to co-cast with you, man. Have a wonderful, happy holidays. Thank you so much.
Okay. See you, mate.
Yeah. Take care.
User disconnected from your channel. Channel switched. User joined your channel.
Hello.
User was moved out of your channel. User was moved out of your channel. Switched.
Ah.
Hello.
So, actually,
Wait,
we
let me
even go into an interview with the two winners here. So, first of all, congratulations, Dagobert and Saladesk. How are you feeling, guys?
Thank you very much.
Oh yeah. Millie, first
It's
of all, thanks so
overwhelming.
much for organizing this. I think we feel super great. Like, this is the best feeling not ever, but it's great.
Yeah, definitely. We never saw this coming. We went
This is
into
the best
this
feeling
just
in
having
AOC
fun.
ever, definitely.
Have to say.
Okay, then let's get into the start of the Great Finals. Your civilizations, Mongols and Teutons. How happy were you with your choices?
So actually, we were discussing because we had the 7th pick and the 2nd pick. So for the 2nd pick, we picked Mongols, but for the 7th pick, we were arguing between Saracen and Teutons, and we are so happy that we picked Teutons now.
Okay, why?
In
Because,
the end, the Teutonic
yeah.
Knights won it. Now we were just thinking like, okay, Saracens, they beat pretty much anything, but they lose to the Teutons, right? So
Yeah,
that was pretty much the deciding factor.
and of course the Teutons also tanking for the Goth player and for the Paladins. So
And Bomber Towers. Towers.
And it was really lucky for us that the Celt player got sort of slowed or killed, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because the Siege Onagers would have killed us, but there weren't any. So hey.
Yeah, and Clavkes was underproducing Siege Onagers, I feel.
Yeah.
The Saracens.
Yeah, we were wondering. It was kind of strange. Like the army composition in the middle was not too many cataphracts, which would have been the unit to kill everything there. I feel.
Yeah.
And yeah, but like the fun thing was that in the start we felt like we didn't have the greatest position because I was right next to Timotheus, who's obviously the strongest player in the whole setup, and so I was fucking scared and started to wall immediately. I was just praying that he wouldn't go for me and would go for the other flank, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, then give me a countdown. How did you feel with 50 years, with 20 years, and
Oh
with
my God.
5 years
Yeah.
left.
Such a roller coaster. Such a roller coaster, man. Like, it just starts building up, and then when you realize we're gonna win this, like, it just drops. It's insane. Best feeling ever.
Well, there's one more stage. At 300 years, you're fully boomed, and you think, okay, what do I do now? Like, and we were discussing when to push,
Yeah,
because we were just waiting for the moment, you know.
Mm.
And then
yeah,
it's like
we chose to
50 years,
overboom.
start to realize, okay, we got the middle now. This might be actually we might be able to do this. So, and then 30 years, it's like Solid says, oh my God, let's do it, bro. And then I'm like, okay, keep calm. And then just 10 years, and he just cries out, throw all your trade cards in the middle, and I'm just searching for my fucking trade cards, you know.
Oh, we even saw a trade card there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so weird. Oh.
That was amazing. Yeah, but we just chose to overboom. Like, I think I had an 192 villager high. I obviously deleted some villagers, but like we just wanted to get them as much resource in. Because in the end, I had no wood. I spent all the wood on rams.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were out of gold as well.
Yeah, exactly. I had so much food, but I couldn't use that for anything.
Yeah, obviously. Maybe you should have sold it, or actually like killed the villagers earlier, or taken them off. But yeah, it's tough to do sometimes. Phew, okay, then I think we reached a prize pool of, I would say, roughly $250 or something.
Holy. Is this real life?
This is if it were $2.50, I would be like so friggin' happy, because just winning money through
definitely.
gaming and like what?
Yeah, I have to say, Nilford, this event has been by far the most exciting to watch, at least for me. I watched Game 3, where the one conquistador, the hero, that was so exciting. I've never like been so excited about a Age of Empires game before.
Okay.
So that's definitely an achievement for you. So
Okay,
very,
thanks a
very
lot.
well done.
Then rewatch all the VODs of King of the Hippo 1 and King of the Hippo 2. We had incredible games there as well, even more sick, I have to say. Yeah, but thanks for the compliment, guys. So don't spend all your money on the same Coke. Yeah, last shoutouts for you guys.
Cheers.
Yeah. Thanks again, mate.
Thank you.
Okay.
Alright, we'll leave the channel then.
Yeah.
See ya.
See you, mates.
Bye bye.
User
See you.
left your
Have a great
channel.
day.
Sound muted.
God, did they sound happy? And yeah, rightfully so. They played great, and was a very clutch moment in the end. GG indeed. And let me see. Thank you all, guys.